JBNN to keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the news with someone today. Now on to the news. 62-year-old man shot dead in St. Anne. A 62-year-old man was shot dead as he sat in his car in Amstead Square in St. Anne on Saturday, the police say. He has been identified as Christopher Ramjeet from Comfort Hill District in Runaway Bay in the parish. The incident occurred at about 8:25 a.m. while Ramjeet was sitting in his Toyota Probox motor car. He was assisted to the St. Anne's Bay Hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. No official motive has been established in Ramjeet's death. The Runaway Bay Criminal Investigation Branch is probing the matter. Teen dies in suspected drowning in Portland River. A teenage boy is suspected to have drowned while swimming in the Canewood River in western Portland on Sunday afternoon. The river was in spate when the boy allegedly entered it around noon. Portland has been battered with heavy rains for the past 3 days, resulting in several rivers overflowing their banks. The body has since been retrieved and taken to a morgue. Human skeletal remains found in Portmore. The St. Catherine South police are trying to identify human skeletal remains that were found in a gully near the Phoenix Vista community in Portmore on Saturday. Residents reportedly stumbled upon the skeletal remains at about 10:20 a.m. and summoned the police. Upon their arrival at Madrid Way, the human remains were discovered near a gully in the community. The remains were removed and taken to a morgue. The Portmore Criminal Investigation Branch is leading the probe. Clarendon teen abducted to be part of religious ceremony, 3 days of darkness. A religious leader is among 3 people charged in connection with the abduction of a 13-year-old Clarendon student, according to detectives from the National Strategic Anti-Gang Division, NSAD, of the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch, CTOC. The accused have been identified as 60-year-old Brian Hunter, a welder and religious leader, 35-year-old Donna Mae Taylor, and a 38-year-old Rochelle Hunter. All 3 are from an address in Newton, St. Catherine. Investigations revealed that the teen was taken from her home on Monday, April 7, without the knowledge or consent of her mother. A missing person report was filed, prompting an immediate investigation by NSAD detectives. On Tuesday, April 15, the teen was found at a house in Newton. 2 other children were also discovered at the location, and the police later determined that the children were not registered for school. Reports indicate that the religious leader took the teen in preparation for a special upcoming event described as akin to 3 days of darkness. One of the accused, said to be the teen's aunt and the alleged mastermind behind the abduction, was taken into custody along with the others. All children were removed from the home. Brian Hunter and Donna Mae Taylor have been charged with abduction of a child under 16, being a member of a criminal organization, 2 counts of duty to secure education, and 3 counts of duty to report need for care and protection. Rochelle Hunter has been charged with conspiracy to abduct a child under 16, being a member of a criminal organization, 2 counts of duty to secure education, and 3 counts of duty to report need for care and protection. All 3 are scheduled to appear in the Home Circuit Court on Monday, April 28. The police are urging parents and guardians to remain vigilant about the safety and welfare of their children and to be cautious of organizations, including those posing as religious groups, which may support harmful beliefs or practices. Anyone with information related to this case or suspicious activities is asked to contact CTOC at 876-967-1389, Crime Stop at 311, the National Intelligence Bureau at 811, the Police Emergency Number 119, or the nearest police station. Trilone man charged with murder. A man who is accused of slicing the throat of another man at a business establishment in Trilone on Thursday, April 17, has been charged with murder. Charges 30-year-old Antoine White, otherwise known as Akeem of Campbell's Lane, Albertown in the parish. The deceased has been identified as 31-year-old Aidan Barnett, otherwise known as AIDS, of the same community. Reports from the Falmouth police are that at about 8:30 p.m., Barnett entered a business establishment, talked to the server, and then turned to leave. It is alleged that White was sitting inside, got up with a knife in his hands, which he used to slash Barnett's throat as he exited the building. Barnett was transported to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. White, however, was reportedly mobbed by residents and beaten before he was taken into custody by a lawman and taken to the hospital, where he was treated. He remains in police custody. White was formally charged on Friday, April 18, based on eyewitness statements. Rum Cream charged with chopping death of pastor. A 47-year-old painter of Gale Spring in St. Mary has been charged with murder following the chopping death of a pastor in their community on Monday, April 14. The deceased has been identified as 61-year-old Rollin Henry. Charged with his murder is Wendell Mills, otherwise called Rum Cream. Reports from McGill police are that at about midnight, Henry was home with his family when they smelled smoke. Checks were made, and they reportedly saw a man setting fire to a section of the house. It is alleged that Henry and a family member went outside and were attacked by the man. The attacker reportedly inflicted several chop wounds to Henry's head and feet and struck him with stones. The family member managed to escape unhurt. The police were summoned, and on their arrival, the injured man was transported to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Mills turned himself into the police later that day and was charged on Friday, April 18. A court date is being finalized for him. What to do when you're involved in a motor vehicle crash?
You know how they say accidents do happen, unexpectedly and often unintentionally. Though road safety experts no longer define these unfortunate incidents involving motor vehicles as accidents, they're certainly never intended. Unfavorable weather conditions, objects on the road, your miscalculation while driving, or another driver can cause crashes, even for the best defensive drivers. That's exactly why it's important to know how to respond in these situations. So, what do you do at that exact moment? What should be your next steps? And when and how should you file a police report?
For the number of reports that come to this station, perhaps it's on a basis of about 10 to 15 per day. That's the number of accidents per day. So after a road traffic accident, person should first try to clear the roadway if they're obstructing the traffic for other motorists. Secondly, drivers are expected to exchange vehicle documents, and the document should include their registration certificate, certificate of fitness, insurance certificate, and their driver's license information. Those are the essential 4 pieces of information that should be provided to both parties after an accident. Contact information is optional, but we have cases where a person tried to settle outside insurance, and that's now a civil matter. It's an agreement between both parties. So if they want to exchange contact information, that's also optional, depending on the intention that they have in terms of fixing the vehicle outside insurance or what.
Your next step? Making a police report about the collision. This is always a good idea. That way, you have proof of exactly what happened and the scope of any injuries.
In terms of our approach as police officers for a motor vehicle accident, first, the critical thing is to check for injuries, make sure that persons are okay. If there's a need for a person to be assisted to the hospital for any sort of treatment, we should make sure we render assistance to persons in need of that care first. Secondly, we check for the damage for the vehicles, make sure there is no obstruction along the roadway, and then we can treat with the documents or the exchange of particulars between both parties. After making a report of a motor vehicle accident, the next step that persons are advised to do is to make a report to their insurance company, and that's for another motorist as it relates to a pedestrian who are persons who are injured. They are also advised to get the assistance of an attorney to file a personal injury claim against the party that is liable in the accident. For follow-up visits, what we do, we have cases where persons are seriously injured, some of which are not able to make it to the station to give a report in the first instance. So what we try to do, whether the persons are hospitalized, we ensure that visits are made and that the person's conditions are updated as we go along. As we through the investigation, we ensure that the person's conditions are updated along the procedure.
But are you always required to report traffic collisions?
Not in all cases a report must be filed for accidents. We have situations where it could be a very minor mishap. For example, someone could be reversing from their garage, they could bump their gate. So in those cases, it's not necessary for them to make a report. But for other situations involving another motorist, or a case where a pedestrian or a property is damaged, a report is expected to be made, because persons at times are expected to make claims, whether from their insurance company or their attorneys, based on the damage received or the injuries they've sustained.
Reports from the Road Safety Unit shows that up to April 26, 139 lives have been cut short because of road crashes this year, with over 100 of those being males. And for the corresponding period last year, 136 lives were lost in road crashes. On a more global level, studies from the World Health Organization (WHO) show that approximately 1.35 million people die each year as a result of road traffic crashes, and 3% of most countries' gross domestic product is spent on road traffic crashes.
The most common cause of motor vehicle accidents, from my understanding, it's mostly impatience on the part of some of the drivers and lack of knowledge as to how the roadways should be used. And I also believe the implementation of traffic signs at various areas would also aid the process, because most drivers are not aware of what to do at various parts of the roadway.
In the face of such figures, even the most careful driver can suddenly encounter a bit of bad fortune on the road. You know that saying, decisions can be like car accidents, sudden and full of consequences. So how about making the right decision to be responsible road users today?
JBN will keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.